If mild temperatures, verdant islands, and the open sea are your idea of the perfect vacation, then what if we upped the ante even more? Fresh seafood, picturesque fishing villages, nature walks, and a whole lot of history. Oh, and you only have to unpack your bags once. Sound like what you're looking for? Then a cruise through the spectacular Canadian Maritimes is the perfect way for you to spend your next vacation. Today, I'm back with Ilana Schattauer to reveal the top 5 cruise tips for Canadian Maritime provinces. What do you think is the best itinerary for a history lover?
There is a lot of history in Halifax, from the Titanic Museum to Peggy's Cove to even, unfortunately, some maritime disasters that have happened there. But for many people that are history buffs and maritime lovers, this is definitely a destination to go to.
Tell us what Peggy's Cove is for those who don't know.
Peggy's Cove is a lighthouse in Halifax, and it is very well known. It's probably, I think, one of the most photographed lighthouses in the world. It is set upon these very, very large rocks. It's hard to describe even until you get there. Like, to actually walk on these rocks is something just incredible. You have these spaces even between the rocks that even people are jumping a little bit, but also the waters are incredibly rough around it. So it does make it quite striking, the deep blues of the water against the white of Peggy's Cove, against the rocks. Unfortunately, there have been a couple of disasters with planes that have unfortunately crashed near Peggy's Cove. So that is also part of the lore even of Peggy's Cove. But it does make it something to see. And people of Halifax, they are very proud of it.
What is the top stop along the coast for foodies and wine lovers to discover? If you had to pick one.
I would say Quebec City. Quebec City is definitely a foodie city. The food is absolutely wonderful. Whether you stop in at a little restaurant and you have poutine or you have duck à la ronge, the food is really wonderful in Quebec City. But throughout the Maritimes, the lobster, the seafood, the lobster rolls, the fish and chips, it really is very, very, very good.
For someone like me who loves a good whale sighting or animal sighting in the wild, where do you recommend people watch for the best wildlife? And are there any excursions that you recommend?
There are some whale watching excursions in Canada, New England. In particular, Gaspé region has the very best whale watching. Now, if you are in Saguenay, which is a very, very interesting place, Saguenay, Quebec, you do have some alpaca farms, and that has become something very popular with tourists.
What is the most unique excursion experience you can have while cruising in the Canadian Maritimes, obviously aside from hanging out with alpacas?
One of the more interesting excursions that we did was when we went over to Anne of Green Gables, to the house, I guess because I had read the books when I was a child, and going onto this piece of land with the Anne of Green Gables house, seeing the haunted forest, there really was a sign for this, being able to purchase the raspberry cordial in the gift shop. I thought that that was one of the most unique excursions that we had done.
That's really magical. And I would say for anybody who hasn't either read Anne of Green Gables or watched one of the adaptations, the Netflix one was super cute that just came out a couple years ago. Get into that because it'll probably make that port so much richer, right?
We also visited fishing villages. We met some of the different people. And that in itself is something special.
I know you're a packing expert when it comes to cruises. So what is your top packing tip or hack for cruising specifically in these regions?
So one of the things is to bring binoculars, because there is a lot to see, even in terms of sometimes marine life that you'll see right off the cruise ship. So you can see whales, that's a possibility, but we would see otters as we were sailing, sometimes getting close to port. So that was something that I thought was something really important. Even when we were in Saguenay, we were able to see a statue. It's called Our Lady of Saguenay, and you can just see it a little bit better by having those binoculars. The other thing is to bring a light raincoat. You never know when you might get a little bit of rain and a little bit of humidity in those regions. So you want to make sure you have that. Good walking shoes, so just some running shoes, and take it from me, try not to have them be white if you are going to Hopewell Rocks, because we walked on the ocean floor in my white shoes, which they were no longer white after that trip, but that's okay. But basically comfortable clothing as well. On the cruise ship, you can dress to the nines if you want, but when you get off the cruise ship, you really want comfortable clothing. So whether that's, a loungy outfit, or whether that's, a pair of comfortable jeans, some leggings, just something really comfortable that's perfect for the region.
Ilana Schattauer, thank you for joining us, and thank you, our listeners, for being with us. If you're planning a trip, be sure to connect with a AAA travel advisor, check out AAA.com/travel, or visit your local branch. This podcast is a production of Auto Club Enterprises. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave us a review. I'm Angie Orth. Thank you for traveling with AAA.